تظاهرات ایرانیان آزاده در واشنگتن، حث مجاهدین از لیست، حفاظت از اشرف. 4 شهریور 1390، 26 اوت 2011.
Now we have someone who's worked at the highest echelons at the CIA, working to fight the real terrorists, the mullahs of Tehran. Let's give it up for John Sano, someone who will talk about the real terrorism list, which the mullahs belong, not MEK.
Thank you. I believe very strongly in your cause. I also believe very strongly in the Iranian people, and that's what sets these issues apart. You remember back in the Clinton administration, the axis of evil, when Iran was listed along with Iraq and North Korea. I've worked against the intelligence services of all 3 of those countries, and in focusing on some of the issues that are relevant to each of them, the one thing that stood out the most, that differentiated Iran, even during that time of crisis, were the people of Iran. The affinity that the people of Iran have with the United States. Now that's not true with the other 2 countries listed in the axis of evil. So there's a uniqueness to the people of Iran that sets it apart. And that, I think, speaks volumes as to your cause and to the need to delist the MEK. Now, when they listed it in 1997, that was a mistake of appeasement. That needs to be reversed. It's not a Republican Party issue. It is not a Democratic Party issue. It is an issue of humanity. It's an issue of correcting an egregious wrong and doing what is right. And it is long overdue. The main perpetrators of the continuing pressure to keep the MEK on the foreign terrorist organizations list is the Ministry of Intelligence and Security, the MOIS in Tehran. Now, as Director Free has pointed out, and as Colonel Martin will also state, we have a little bit of experience in dealing with terrorist groups. The MEK is not a terrorist group. I can tell you with a fair amount of authority, and I think the other speakers will back this up, the MOIS is, in fact, a terrorist organization. They should be on the list, not the MEK. Now, I've actually worked against MOIS agents overseas. I have experience in dealing with them, and am familiar to a degree with some of their methods. Now, unlike other civilized intelligence organizations from Western countries, and indeed even other countries in the region, the MOIS is not restricted in its efforts to undermine the credibility of the Iranian opposition. And they view the MEK quite clearly as a severe threat to the continued existence of their regime. So how do they undermine it? What are they doing? Well, they likely see the U.S. continued branding of the MEK as a terrorist organization, much to their benefit. It allows them, as the Honorable Mr. Kennedy has pointed out, to commit atrocities against their own people. They wish to keep that assessment intact, and they'll go to whatever they can, to whatever lengths they can, to propagate falsehoods about the MEK, both here in the United States and internationally. Accusations ranging from harboring weapons of mass destruction in Camp Ashraf, to training female suicide bombers, to attempting to bring down airliners. These were all propagated falsely by the MOIS. And when these allegations were proven false, not just by the United States, but by a range of countries and international organizations, the MOIS continued in their insistence. Now, you're all familiar with some of their techniques: kidnapping, torture,